Hi, it's Wasabi. Welcome back to the channel. We've got a battle on the steps map. We've got Pyro in the Kampfpanzer 50T. This is the Tier 9 German reward tank for ranked battles. So if you see one on the battleground, it means that the player reached the top levels of the ranked battles when they finished. So rated fairly highly. It's a good all-rounder tank. So we'll see how Pyro uses it and what results he can get. Alright, so unfortunate light tank gets spotted early. So it's a Tier 8, Tier 9 battle, so he's top tier. So pretty fast moving, getting over 55 or up to 55 k's across the ground. It's fairly manoeuvrable in that respect. You see good acceleration. So just trying to get an angle on the Barrask there. He's getting spotted possibly by the Barrask, but didn't get an angle on it. Got some other tanks here and just looking for a shot. Does get a hit on the target there, but didn't penetrate. So it's just lining up again. 75 TS, another non-penetration. So he's using APCR rounds at the moment, which are standard. Nice shell velocity, 1478, similar to the Leopard PTA this tier. Got the flock lined up, finally gets a pen there, or a second pen I should say, for the round. And the flock is right out the open, does take a hit from the Leopard PTA, just talking to them. But manages to get another hit in on the flock, and now he's doing a bit of reverse side scraping here. Trying to get a hit on that Skoda T56, but doesn't penetrate. The flock goes down eventually. So they're now one tank up, but they're negative on the hit point balance. So I think he's sensing that that flank is going to fall. He's falling back. The Centurion 7-1 is already on very low health. The Udis, I think, is also moving back as well. Yep, Udis is coming away. Centurion goes down, and he's just relocating to a spot where they won't necessarily expect him, and he can get some perhaps side shots as they come out. So he's got this rock between them, and that gives him hull down protection. So he's just checking his balance there. Gets a nice side shot on the 75 TS, and the 75 turns to face him and he goes right through the cupola there, no problem. Reduces him down to a couple of shots worth of health. Here comes the Barrask, and he gets an unwelcome 400 hit points in the face, and probably another one while he's coming up here. Yes, he does, 470, nice high roll there, and the Barrask gets taken out finally by a strip. So now he's starting to farm these tanks coming in here. There's the Chimera, unfortunately doesn't connect, but also the Chimera bounces off him, so he's already bounced a little bit. The turret is pretty decent on the 50T. The enemy are basically holding here. They're all tier 8s on that line, so they know they're facing a pretty formidable foe here in the 50T. And they don't want to come in directly, so they'll be looking for lack of attention or perhaps distraction. But they really need to get around and try and flank. That's the only way they're going to really take over this position, I would say. Anyway, he's up to 2.5k of damage, and now it's Pyro changing the angle because he's basically missing out on damage here, and damage equals experience and credits. He's just switching to his premium round here. Undeniable penetration capability. And it looks like the enemy's actually pulled back here, so yes they have. Yes, this E75 TS and the Skoda are all back there, the Ferdinand, so they'll run away basically. Now the game's in a state of equilibrium. Always got a nice shot potentially on the 11 PTA as it goes through. It's fairly low damage there. And now he's found the Ferdinand and sends him back to the garage. Gets spotted as a result, so he pulls back into cover. It's until he's unspotted, well not quite, and lines up the Scorpion. Scorpion was waiting for him and sends a shot into him, but bounces and he manages to punish the Scorpion instead. And now he's unspotted, he can come out and look for more targets. So still not being lit, just another shot on the Scorpion. So it's getting a lot of variability from these shells here. He's had some quite high and quite low rolls. What have we got? Average damage 320. Okay, so he has rolled as high as 470. That would be pretty much a maximum roll there. That was of course an HE round, which I wasn't paying attention to at the time. But I'll have to go back and have a look. Alright, now he's spotted again. Not surprised, there's a Scorpion, lines him up, does take a hit this time, but the Scorpion then gets taken out by his counterpart, and there's the Chimera. So now we've got a choice here. The game is slowly swinging around. They've got plenty of hit points in their sleeve. You can get a shot on the Kampfpanzer 105. Gets the hit, but unfortunately just not the right angle. Now here's the Skoda. Can we get a kill here? No, doesn't hit. Quick rush shot. And the Skodas are waiting for him now. Is he going to get that in? Oh, he gets the kill, finally. So, Skoda goes back into the garage, and now they've got probably an insurmountable lead in the game. Plenty of hit points, and they're 2 tanks up. That could change, but we've got the back of the Kampfpanzer. Just roll back a little bit. Here we go. Gets the shot in just enough space. And there you go, another low roll, 286. But I suppose on 320 that's sort of acceptable, and it gets the kill, just the follow-up. So wrapping up the game now, only 2 tanks remaining, the Chimera and the Striv. And the Chimera all in the same position here. So there's the Striv, and he'll go for the Ram. Yep, takes the Striv with a Ram, and now it's just the Chimera. Bounces off the turret of the Chimera. And he might take a hit here, I think. Yes, the Chimera puts a big chunk into him, but that's it. Takes the Chimera out. That gives him 5 kills, and he's just ticked over 5 cape damage. Alright, so it turned into a bit of an overrun there at the end. Let's have a look at his first details there. So we saw that nearly 5.2 k damage and the 5 kills. That's given him the high caliber award. It's bounced 1290 and a small amount of assisted damage there. It's got them Confederate awarded. You can see how many tanks he's damaged in the game too, so he's fair influence on the results. And he's earned the first class mastery badge. Let's have a look at the team score and his base EXP to work out where that fits in. So he's finished on top with 1312 base experience. Now just looked up the skills index, and the level for ace tanker is 1485 on the Asia server and 1295 for first class, so definitely in the first class area, and that's not to be sneezed at. That's still better than 95% of all the other players playing that tank in the last week or so, so not to be sneezed at. Next best player was a Skoda T56 at tier 8. Definitely being lower tier helps you get a little bit more EXP, and did over 3k, which is very commendable. On the enemy side, the Chimera actually ended up with the most EXP, but not a lot of damage, and the highest damage there was the Leopard prototype doing 2750, and not a great spread of damage across the rest of the team. So a bit of a fail there from the enemy team, but that's okay. That's what you're there to take advantage of and get your results from. If that falls in your lap, that's fine. But ultimately, it comes down to what are you getting out of the game. So let's see, he's fired 24 shots, 22 hits, so great shooting there, 17 pens. It is a reward tank, not a premium tank, but he did have some personal reserves running as well as getting a missions payout, and ended up not spending a huge amount on ammunition. He was very selective on ammo type, so doing the right thing there. Spent some money on consumables, but made a nice 113, nearly 114k profit on that game. It's another great game from Pyro. He really puts them out, so if you're trying to improve your game, it's definitely a good thing to look at his gameplay. But nonetheless, that's what this channel is for, is to try and give you good examples of gameplay and try and give you explanations about their decision making. So anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please consider doing that. We'll have more great content to follow. Thanks very much for watching.